listening to Power Producers Shop Talk, where we are refining and redefining the sales game by equipping you with the tools you need to differentiate yourself in the marketplace.
Well, it's like when we audit the mod with Logic and give them the action items that they're going to use to lower their total cost of risk.
Tactical skills that will help you provide deliverable value to your clients and prospects.
Technology is not an expense, it's an investment. Look at what Think HR has done for our clients and even our team. It's an amazing product, and I'm so thankful we have that.
And action items that you can provide to take your prospects and clients to the next level.
Things are changing for us in 2021. Not all big business anymore. Now that we have CoverWallet on our team, it's amazing that we're going to be able to write small business profitably.
This is Power Producer Shop Talk. Production redefined. Are you ready to feel the power?
Impulse factors.
Impulse factors. That's what we're talking about today on Power Producers Shop Talk, where we are refining and redefining the sales game. Last time we gave you Jones effect and indifference.
Mm-hmm.
Today, what are you spitting today, Beard?
We're going to talk a little bit about the last two, which are fear of loss and sense of urgency. They kind of go hand in hand sometimes. The fear of loss was just really kind of making the customer feel like they were going to lose out on whatever it was that we had. And it's a little bit different when you're selling like a physical product and you have to go in and make the sale right then than with what we're doing. But we do it all the time with like, KPA and mineral, right? Like,
yep.
We can use that as a fear of loss item because that's our value proposition. That's what we're delivering. That's the paper transaction of the insurance is nothing. It sits on their desk and it doesn't do anything.
I think that's one of the reasons. Yeah, I think it's one of the reasons why it's so powerful to use mineral that way, because we can go in and actually give it to them, let them taste it, take it for a test drive, and use it. And then once they get used to it, we can jerk the rug out from under them at that point, right?
I think you've got an example of like I think you were talking about one maybe on a recent podcast about where you, gave it to them ahead of time because the renewal was so far out.
That's my new deal, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we should all be doing. That
fear
in
of
my
loss
opinion at this point. Yeah, and so what I decided was, look, I'm paying for mineral whether I give it to people or not. Some of you greedy bastards out there that are agents and you don't want to come off of a nickel.
Come up off that bread, son.
Yeah, here's a fun fact. Like, if you're paying for it and not giving it to people, how are you using that to generate new business?
Right.
I understand that you're giving it to your clients because that's what you promised at the point of sale, but it's a ridiculously good prospecting tool too. And the thing is, we have the ability to say, we have the ability to go to these people and give it to them and talk about the handbook. We want to encourage them to create their handbook. We want to encourage them to use the learning management system for a couple of things that we identify when we first meet with them. And we're going to tell them, we're going to let you have this for 90 days to see how you like it, how it works in your organization. And then I'm going to put Nicole on them to make sure that they actually do use it. But then in that 90 days gets up, you can go back to them and say, look, I looked at the utilization reports. Looks like mineral is working out well for you. I got some bad news though. It was a 90-day free trial, so we'll either let you buy it for $5,000 one lump sum payment, or if you want to make monthlies of $500, it would annualize out to $6,000 a year. But if you want to use money you're already spending, this is part of the value proposition that the clients of Florida Risk Partners get. We can have a conversation about what it would look like for us to take over your insurance program, and here are all the things that come with that. And you have to do a delicate dance when you do that so that it's not looked at as rebating, and you can't have it look like you're, trying to coerce somebody by dangling the carrot. But, we're safe there. I just think it's interesting because people do, man. Once they have something, they don't want to give it up. That's why I have 4 closets full of clothes at my house, right? I don't want to give up my, it's a psychological thing.
Right, and I think that's a perfect example of how we can use it. So I'm glad you kind of ran through that. It doesn't have to be such a, people kind of hear fear of loss and they think that you're just putting the hard squeeze on them, and to an extent you are. But I mean, right there, listening to that conversation, I didn't ever feel like it was, like a high pressure situation. You used a little bit of indifference, like we just talked about, and you combined it, and that's when these things are the most impactful. Is when you can take 1, 2, 3, or even all 4 of them and kind of use them.
Oh, you could easily, yeah.
Intertwine them.
We haven't even talked about the 4th one yet, but I can already see using Jones effect, indifference. You know,
can use
all
them
of
in the
that
same.
stuff
You can
together.
use them in the same sentence, and it'll help. It'll help you be smoother in some senses. So, the fear of loss is that one, and we can probably think of some other ways. Or if people end up having questions and want to leave us a review on iTunes and ask us about that, then
People, come on, man. I mean, until I ran the numbers and realized that literally 1/2% of our listeners take the time.
It's not good.
We don't get paid to do this. I mean,
No.
just throw us a bone.
Yeah. So, anyways,
especially in an industry where everybody's worried about getting reviews for their agency online.
True.
Come on.
Yeah. Right. So then, sense of urgency is just what it sounds like. It's kind of
Limited time offer. Buy today.
Right. So you could
Early bidder pricing expires at midnight. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah, and we used to use it too, like letting them know that this wasn't going to take a lot of their time. So, okay, I'll tie it into us like setting appointments and everything. But I mean, I would when I would walk in, I would use some Jones. I would ice break, use some Jones effect and some indifference, and I would add some sense of urgency at the very end of it and say, I'm just looking to introduce myself, real quick to the person. So that real quick part, that's the sense of urgency. Real quick to the person who handles the office supplies, shouldn't take more than a few minutes. Like those things are using these impulse factors to get them impulsed to do what I'm wanting them to do, which is get me in front of the decision maker at that point in time. So we can use that on the phones when we're trying to set appointments, as well, or in via email too. Saying things like like Marvin when he's calling, he'll say, I know you're not expecting my call. My job is just to set up a time for one of our advisors to give you a quick 15-minute call. That's sense of urgency. Quick 15-minute call to discuss some of the things that we've been able to do for other businesses in the area as it relates to their workers' comp policy. He's got Wednesday at 2 and Thursday at 1 available. Which one works better for you? So you can use it all over the place. And I think it's important to do that too, especially, when we're calling somebody cold and they're not expecting our call. You can use it on the front end. You're like, hey, would you hate me? What did he say yesterday? Would you hate me if I
would you hate me if I told you I was calling you about insurance? I have to give credit to Ryan Stillwell for that.
Yeah. So yeah, you can use something like that too. I think it all kind of plays together, but
it's funny, man, because when Ryan sent me a couple of recorded calls that he had made, and he when he says that, it's always funny because the person that he's talking to kind of chuckles a little bit and like, no, I'm not gonna hate you. I get a bunch of calls around this time. What's your deal? Tell me what's going on.
It's a great icebreaker.
It is. I heard somebody in Protege did one that said, would you hate me if I told you this is a cold call? And I think they're getting this stuff from Josh Braun, who I follow on LinkedIn, because that sounds like something out of his playbook. But, I think that a good icebreaker like that, to me, that's what makes or breaks it, especially when you're cold calling. You got to get their attention right out of the box.
Yeah.
You can't just go in and say, I'd like to talk to you about your insurance and risk management program. No, they're going to shut you down. Bye, librarian. See ya. Go back to your duodecimal system that never really came to fruition. Just like the metric system. When I was a kid, we were told that we would be on the metric system in the United States in like X number of years, and that never happened. I refuse.
We were also told that we would never have a calculator. Like, we wouldn't be able to carry that around in our pocket, and yet,
Yeah.
Like when you had to do mental math, or like your teachers were like, you're not going to have a calculator all the time walking around. You need to learn how to do this. Shut up.
Right.
Ms. Johnson.
Well, I mean, look at the evolution there, man. Like the kids now, they don't even teach them how to read cursive.
Right.
Or write it. Right.
Write it, yeah.
Like, everything's typed.
Which is
Everything's
crazy.
on a computer at this point.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's not good. But so I was thinking too of other ways. Like, you need to not only like be able to use the sense of urgency when you're you like on prospects and clients, but like you need to have it yourself too. Like especially when you're on the phone and you're calling somebody. What do you say? You have like seven seconds, maybe less, to make an impact and get them to listen to what you have to say. So you need to have that sense of urgency yourself. You can't just be strolling through that introduction and kind of be drawn out when you're trying to get your point across. You gotta hit it quick and get their attention.
Can I just tell you that while you were saying that, my mind drifted just for a minute to another one of my favorite movie scenes of all time, and that is in Along Came Polly when they're playing basketball outside.
Iceman.
Yeah, he goes, "What's up, Sasquatch?" Philip Seymour Hoffman was absolutely fantastic. Rain Man,
classic in that movie.
White chocolate.
Yeah, that's a good one. I haven't seen that one in a while.
Ruben, I'd like to change with you, but I just learned how to guard this particular man right here. Just so many. Like, that is one of my favorite movies.
We gotta go. I just sharted.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies, because it does have some bearing on what we do for a living to a certain degree, like listening to him, but just the little one-liners back and forth. That's just absolutely fantastic. I'll tell you another one that's really good is The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston.
Vince Vaughn is one of my favorite actors because he was so witty and quick with just like comebacks and funny shit.
Exactly. That's a guy I feel like I would hang out with all the time.
Yeah. Like that. Wedding Crashers. Like that's Wedding Crashers is one of my favorite movies of all time.
The other guy that's in there though is the one that played the gay brother from the Tone Rangers. That guy's I don't know his name, but he plays like the same guy in every movie. He was in Pitch Perfect. He was in Best of Show. Like all of these like sarcastic, just like speaks my language. But you don't take a pitch pipe out of a man's hand when he's in the middle of a funky groove. You could get hurt doing something like that. Absolutely fantastic.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how much else, I mean, we could, again, if people have specific questions, I guess, reach out, but I don't know how much else I can.
I'm going to put you on the spot, man. Give me all four in one pitch.
Okay.
You can have a second to think about it.
Yeah, so like maybe like trying to set the appointment.
I don't care. Whatever situation in our realm you need to come up with to make it work. I want you to put all four of them together and show them what's up.
Okay. All right, so let's do like maybe
you can
just
even do it with office supplies if you want. Let them draw their own conclusion.
Yeah, we could do that, or I mean, we could just do it like just trying to set the appointment. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so, all right, let's do that. So I'm calling you. You're the you're the prospect, and I'm trying to set an appointment with you. Cool. Ring, ring.
What's up?
Hi, is this David?
It is. How can I help you?
Hey, David. This is Kyle Houck with Florida Risk Partners. I know you're not expecting my call, so I promise to be brief, but we're a commercial risk management firm here in the area, and I was reaching out to set up a time for us to have a brief discussion. I know your workers' comp renewal is coming up, and we've been having a lot of success, with businesses in your industry, helping them lower their total cost of risk. I'm going to be in your area on Wednesday and also Thursday of next week. Is it better 10 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon for you?
Not much of a morning guy. I'd say 2 in the afternoon would be great.
That's perfect. What time do you eat lunch? I can pick something up on my way in. No, you don't have to say
late.
that. I'm just messing with you.
A little late for the lunch. That's my after lunch snack by that time.
But I think I hit all four of them in there. I mean, I used some
Break
Jones effect. Yeah. So like the tone of my voice was pretty indifferent. I promise not to take up too much of your time. That's both. That's indifference and sense of urgency at the same time. I'm just, and the other indifference and sense of urgency too is saying, that I'm just calling to set up a time for us to talk a little bit, more in depth, about your upcoming renewal. That's fear of loss. Like that's coming up. That's something that's going to happen. That's an event that we have to get through. It shouldn't take more than
Jones effect is when you just said we've helped several other companies in your area.
Yeah. So like you can use all of them at once, and that was obviously just, I mean, I feel like that was pretty close to what we would say on the phone, what we try to get Marvin to say. But that's using pretty much all of them at once. So you can kind of adapt it to, whatever works for you. But I think that's a decent example.
Perfect. I'd say it's a great way to end it. I hope everybody has an awesome weekend leaving us iTunes reviews. See ya.
You've been listening to Power Producers Shop Talk. You can follow us at the Power Producers Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to take your game to the next level, check out our commercial insurance training course at killingcommercial.com or visit Amazon to pick up a copy of our international best-selling book, The Extra 2 Minutes.